First and foremost, when I saw the mask thing, I called a surgeon over in Knoxville, and he happens to be friends with another surgeon friend of mine. I pulled over on the side of the road. I said, "Dude, what are we watching?" He says, "I think we're watching a genocide." And Scout Sonner pulled on the side of the road, had about a 30, 45-minute conversation with him. And based on what I'm reading in the data, yada, 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 the anecdotal and the data, we know CDC and FDA. I mean, come on, we got aspartame and we ranked 68th in outcomes. A lot of science, a lot of investors, a lot of new pills for that, and all that neat stuff. Doesn't make you any healthier. Okay. Organic food, clean water, physical exercise, sunlight. That's what makes you healthy. God, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah. We can get into that another time. Blown away by it all. I have been from the get-go. A lot of us saw it coming in 2009 with the swine flu. We were working in the ER at the time, and everybody on the street wanted a test. They didn't have any tests. Well, back then, if you weren't sick enough to get in the hospital, you weren't getting in the hospital. Suddenly we got a test, and now everybody that tests positive is getting in the hospital. We had COVID wards with people with sniffles or just tested positive. I had people cough in my face because I wanted to get COVID-19 and build immunity to it. That's how this all works. So I'm just utterly blown away. A lot of evil in the world, a lot of greed in the world. A lot of people that will. But if you're doing battle, I thought about this, and this makes sense to me. In 1998, I graduated nursing school, and because of my felony, I could not actually go bedside. So I worked as a physician recruiter, owned a physician recruiting business, worked for some of these corporations, getting certain doctors for these markets that they needed to make money. Ultimately, for the hospital, if I look back, the hospitals, part of the corporation system, were just simply trying to capture that market for that stent or that colonoscopy or whatever. The hospital is there to make money. It's not part of the community anymore. They put it in there like a Chase Manhattan Bank, but it's not there for your good, if that makes sense. And I've seen it from patients today. I told my friend, a plastic surgeon where I used to work, I said, they get rid of people like me, pretty soon you're going to have a bunch of fat, sick, jabbed people throwing pills at fat, sick, jabbed people. And that's exactly what's going on. I mean, God. Admitted another patient, 2 washouts later, and the daughter was sitting there talking to me about all the travel nurses. Here's what they're doing with the travel nursing and the incentives for the remdesivir. Do the math, follow the money. In my humble opinion, if you're going to recruit an NFL winning Super Bowl team or a Major League Baseball team that's going to win the World Series over and over, you're going to recruit the best. You're going to pay them what they're worth. And hospitals have done that and communities have done that through a lot of mechanisms. When I went to work at this Catholic hospital, St. Thomas West in Nashville, Tennessee, it's been around since the 1800s. I've met 99-year-olds that were born there. And the Daughters of Charity let it go, and it got bought up by Ascension Healthcare, which is a corporation running on that HCA model. But we see that HCA model, that Tenet was take every nickel every time, community health systems, blah, 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 Kaiser Permanente. We see all that. And so Big Pharma and the corporatists who run Big Pharma and now have bought interest in the hospitals, I'm going to say this is my epiphany, but they do that and change that nursing staff around. We've always pondered. Anybody's a nurse, they're always pondered why they keep bringing in, why are they willing to pay travel nurses when they can just pay the regular nurses what they're worth? Boom. Follow that money. They don't care. They don't care about your community. Back when I started nursing, there was a 7 to 3 shift, a 3 to 11 shift, and 11 to 7. Those were 8-hour shifts. And then they had that Baylor program. They started working nurses 12 hours and pay them supposedly for 40, working 36, 312s, blah, blah, blah. And then that has escaped. And now they continue to do that. And they promise you all this. They're paying into that to pay for that to pay for that. But you have to ask, does that provide you or Nana good quality health care? The answer? Well, your shoebox full of pills, ask Nana if she's getting any better.